A very good evening, a warm welcome to Dan Really Likes Wine, presented by Pick and Pay, and an ever so slightly delayed welcome, mostly because of some power cuts. It's power cut season again. When is it ever not? But we've managed to get all of our guests back up and running, and we're ready to kick off what is, for me, a really exciting opportunity to celebrate a platform within the wine community that is doing quite wonderful work on giving young people an opportunity in wine and beyond, and using the platform to send them out into the working world equipped with a wide array of incredibly valuable skills. It is the Pinotage Youth Development Academy. It's more than just Pinotage, but Pinotage is extra important at the moment because this group of very exciting young South Africans have actually produced their very first wine, and lo and behold, it just happens to be Pinotage. What is the wine? Who are the people behind it? And what is this Pinotage Youth Development Academy? Well, we'll find out in just a moment from not only the executive director, but one of the advisors and board members who is well known to this particular show and who makes some of South Africa's most exciting wine herself. All that in a moment, though. Let's jump in very quickly. It's not too busy a news day, but we've got one or two pieces for you, so here you are. The first of those, the Bubbles Festival. I think we might have mentioned this last week as well. Dariel Robertson brings her acclaimed celebration of all things sparkling up to Johannesburg, up to Inanda. That is the 9th and 10th of April. So if you are in Johannesburg, it is not just Cup Classique. There is also going to be an array of champagne. You'll see the Bollinger there. There is also going to be some Tattinger that will be present. As you grab some of that, there's the Siwela. That is a label you might not know of, but you will certainly enjoy if you get to the festival and give it a crack. Loads of familiar faces as well. Anthony Rupert will be there. Graham Beck, as you saw a moment ago. So some really, really cool stuff that is coming up. And yeah, if you happen to be in Johannesburg, then that is one you don't want to miss out on. Dale Robertson does throw a fabulous party. So tickets are available. There's also the chance to win. Bellingham are our competition sponsors this month. And through the course of the month, your chance, simply by jumping onto our social media channels and telling us why you should win the prize, you can win said prize. So what is it? It is the chance to head off to Le Coin Français in the heart of France with Darren Badenhorst. Very, very skilled chef. He will put together a 5-course meal for 4 people. So you and 3 friends, and Bellingham will pair that up with a series of vintage Bellingham wines. It promises to be a really, really good night out, and it's an easy one to win all the way through the course of March. Simply go to our social media platforms and tell us why you should win this prize with Bellingham. Tag Dan Really Likes Wine, tag Bellingham as well, and that prize could be all yours. It really is that simple. So get on board, jump in, and you never know, it could be you who is our winner. And then I'll be running, as I say, till the end of the month. So there we go, one or two little updates for you. Let's jump into the show. And this is really cool because it is a platform that I have known about for some time, principally Oh, there we go. We really are having fun today. Thank you, ESCOM, who are wreaking a little havoc across the board on this evening's Dan Really Likes Wine episode. But we are back, and it gives me the chance, as I was happily saying, I suspect just to myself when we went off air for a moment. This is in the Pinotage Youth Development Academy, a platform that I first got to know of through the Cape Wine Auction, hosting it over the years and knowing that money was going to this space. But it's not one, and this is my fault entirely, that I know nearly as much about as I should. So this evening, the chance to rectify that and to meet the people behind it and to meet a couple of the current intake and find out what they're doing with the world of wine. So let me say a very, very good evening to Ntsiki Biyela, who we know well from the show, who does such terrific work with Aslina Wines. Ntsiki, lovely to have you on the show. I think Nikki is with us as well. With her, we've got everybody there. So we've got a full house of Pinotage Youth Development team, and we've got one of South Africa's finest winemakers. So let's set the scene, because Nikki, you are the executive director. You've got two beaming members of your program beside you, and we'll meet them in just a moment. But if you will, Nikki, just give us an idea for people who are watching and saying, oh, this sounds really cool, but I've never heard of it. What is the Pinotage Youth Development Academy? How does it work? What is this particular space?
Thank you. So the Pentatage Youth Development Academy was born about 10 years ago almost, which we're quite amazed at. But our purpose is essentially to work with young, high potential South Africans for an economic outcome. So we started in the wine sector as an opportune place where people could grow and learn and become part of the new world. And since then, we've gone into a variety of different sectors. But essentially, it is around working with these young people, 18 to 25-year-olds, and through their time with us, they are growing, they are learning, and they are becoming work ready. They are then able to access income. And in this case, what we're celebrating tonight is actually a business. And through that, they are able to bring change to themselves, their families, their community, and this amazing country that we live in. So for us, we are not an academy. We are a change organization, and our passion is about bringing irrevocable change to South Africa.
You do so with a name that immediately catches the attention of a show like mine and a wine lover like me, the Pinotage Youth Development Academy. What more specifically is the wine angle to this space?
So when we started the academy, it started with, as most things do, with an individual story. And it was the story of a young man in a tasting room who was unable to access formal employment. And his story led to a piece of research and ultimately the program, which was to deliver young talent into the wine sector specifically. So given the history of the wine sector, given the opportunities, we were born into delivering young talent into the sector. So we were born in the wine sector, and since then we now work in different sectors, but by far the most of our graduates are in the wine sector, and they are expert now in their field.
We have two of them with us at the moment. I want to hear their story in just a second, but let's jump over to Ntsiki for a moment. We know you as one of our most exciting established winemakers, and you not a year goes by when you haven't broken down another door and created something new and exciting, another landmark in wine. But I sense that this particular space, Ntsiki, strikes a real chord, and it's something that speaks to your journey in wine as well.
Yes, thank you very much, Dan. It's good to be back. I think for me, being part of the PYDA, I know it's like you look at it and you're thinking, oh yeah, no, I'm doing something for the PYDA. Yes, but at the same time, I'm getting something because the students, they actually, when I look at them, they remind me of myself. They are who I was when I got into the industry, when I started studying. And so to be involved in the place that actually brings change to the people who look like me, people who resembles exactly how I felt when I started being in an industry where you feel like, do I belong here? Can I get in here? And so working with them, actually, it always motivates me to say I can do more.
I'm not sure you of anybody actually needs motivation. I'm not sure how much more you can do because you've done so much already. But you're clearly getting stuck in. What is your actual role here? What do you do with the academy?
Yeah, so I'm one of the directors on the board. So basically, we discuss the direction of the academy, what is needed, assisting the director, the executive director, where she needs answers on certain things. So as the board, we are basically trying to discuss the things behind the scenes to say, okay, this is where we're going. But also, I think for me, the key part is when I have to talk to students as a mentor and discuss with them the issues that are happening. And if they've got issues, then actually to try and clarify and tell them where I am and how I got to where I am, and inspire them to say, actually, as much as you look at yourself where you are, look where I am. I also started, at a certain point. So you can also do a step-by-step walk to get yourself to a certain level.
The reality of South African wine and Ntsiki is that a black woman winemaker is still a very rare occurrence. Things are changing, but it's a gradual process, one that you're very much part of. How much have you seen your personal story impact on young people coming through the academy? Young people who maybe thought, well, I'm a young black woman, maybe wine isn't for me because I don't see many people like me in this space. And then they meet you and they hear your story, and hopefully their perspective and their ambition then changes.
Yes, look, I think I have seen the impact that after talking to them, or even before I talk to the students, when I get to meet them, I find that they already know about my existence, and like they are expecting certain things that are going to come, that I'm going to say. But also without hiding the fact of the difficulty of the industry, to say, you know what, yes, you must actually, as much as you're getting into the industry, it's not going to be easy. It's still not easy. It doesn't mean that because the path has been open, that when you walk this path, it's going to be easy. It just means you need to be persistent, because the students still get struggles in the industry. We cannot beat upon the bushes to say, no, everything is smooth, because it's an individual journey when you look at different wineries and different people in the industry, that they still have a certain way of talking to people. They still have a certain way of looking at other people. So we need, that's where I come in actually also to prep them to say, you know what, it's going to be good, but still understand there's going to be 1, 2, and 3 that you're going to encounter. Just be open-minded about it and know that it's going to happen, but know how you deal with it. And those are the tools they also get in the academy to say you have to be able to stand for yourself, to say, that's not the way that I understand things. Let's look forward. Let's discuss how we're moving from this sport.
Well, let's get some first-hand experience. Ziyanda Njalo and Ntsiki Biyela are two of our, I think, current. Let's kick off with you, Ziyanda. Tell us about how you first found out about this platform and what drew you towards wanting to be part of the Pinotage Youth Development Academy.
Okay, so when I first heard about PYDA, I heard it through a friend, Ungezueno Toza, who is a graduate of PYDA. He told me about the programs they run and where he was working at that time, was working overseas. So I said, okay, let me go for PYDA. And then when I first started here, remember, I was so scared to present, a wide range of people. And then I didn't know anything about wine. I learned through PYDA, and then I became more confident to present wine. And I also did my WSET level 2, which I passed.
I'm not surprised you passed it, Ziyanda, because I spent a little bit of time earlier today on your Instagram account, and there are rather a lot of photos of wine, Ziyanda. You clearly do a lot of research, which is admirable. Well, what for you has the Academy done, both as Ziyanda the person, but also Ziyanda looking to move into the working world, possibly into the wine world?
I learned how to be bold and how to stand for myself and be courageous and
be transparency through the academy. And then now I'm still working in the project as the project manager. And so I see myself as CEO of a brand, also CEO of Ulucha. So I see myself there becoming what I want to be. I want to have my own brand someday. So I see myself there.
You mentioned the brand. We're going to talk about that in just a second because it's really, really exciting. Sisipa, what about your story? When did the Pinotage Youth Academy first come across your horizon, and what was your motivation for wanting to be part of it?
Okay, thank you so much. So, like Sianda, I heard about the academy from a friend who's a graduate from the academy. So before I was unemployed, and when I heard about the academy, I applied, and then luckily I was accepted. So PYDA for me was a great experience. I enjoyed the time I spent at the academy, though most of the time we did our work virtually online because of COVID. But it was a very nice experience. The camps we had, I mean, it groomed me personally, the personal development they gave us. When I walked out of here, I was work ready. They equipped me with skills as well. So when I graduated from the academy, I was looking forward to the world of work. And looking at my friend who recommended PYDA to me, I knew that I'm going to a better place because I know he's thriving out there. And he's also he's also working in the industry. So I always look up to him as a person.
Zianda's not the only one whose Instagram account I spend a bit of time on. I see yours, Sisipa, has you down as wine connoisseur, which is admirable. And there are also a good few wine photos there. I get a sense, Sisipa, that just like Zianda, wine is more than just a means to an end. You have developed a genuine interest, a real passion for the wine space and the world around it.
Can you repeat the question?
Sorry, Sisipa, our connection there dropping for a second. I just get, from having a look at social media, from hearing you speak, I get the sense that you've developed a real passion for wine and for the world of wine.
Well, I really did develop a passion. So when I first came in here, I knew nothing about wine. I didn't like wine at one bit, and I didn't even know how wine is made. But what I wanted, it was that I'm going to be at the academy, graduate, and secure a job for myself and just better my life and that of my family. But my time at the academy, so with all the modules we're doing, I fell in love with more like the wine side. And I would do like on my day offs, on weekends, I would go for wine tastings, meet other people like in the industry. So that's when I fell in love with the wine and the chemistry behind it.
Has there been a moment, Sisipa, and I'll ask you the same question in a second, Xander, but has there been a moment where you think back and that was really when I fell in love with wine for the first time?
Okay, so when I really fell in love for the first time, it was when I wrote, it was like just a wine overview test that we're just trying at the beginning of the year. So when I wrote that test, I was very excited, like reading the notes. And luckily I passed. I think I was the top one in my class. So that was like the most exciting part. I was like, okay, I can do this thing. And I liked how you can make like this bottle of wine just from grapes, like converting the grape juice to wine. So I just like that.
Well, what about you, Zianda? Wine's clearly taken hold. When did that first happen? What was that bang moment, fingers clicked? I found my space.
So it was when we were doing WSET level 2, when we were learning about the international wines. So I fell in love with knowing France, how do they make their wines and the climate there and the different soil. So I fell in love so that I wanted to be in the cellar and experience the winemaking process, and also know how to present the wine with different regions and how the vineyards look and how the slopes must be. So I really fell in love there.
You've got beside you, Nikki, two clearly incredibly enthusiastic ambassadors for your project, for the academy, and I can see how rewarding that is. The impact that you're able to have, I'm guessing, is not just these two. I'm guessing it's considerable. Tell me a bit more about the number of people who've come through and the kind of impact that you've seen the Pinotage Youth Development Academy have on these young South Africans.
So in terms of numbers, which is only one part of our equation, we're almost at 500 graduates, and we measure it together with their families. So we measure personal change, we measure their level of technical expertise within the sector within which we work, and we measure their employment or their economic success, because we don't believe that we can have a successful change in the country without all of those aspects. So we have a number, we work in, as you've rightly said, we've worked in a number of sectors now, but in the wine sector itself, we have over 300 graduates. So you're unlikely to go into any tasting room without being able to meet a graduate who's able to tell their whole story to you. We found lots of different change with families. There's sometimes family resistance to wine. There are concerns about wine as a social ill. And part of our contribution is also to educate and include people in the understanding of what wine is and how it can be enjoyed and valued in a positive way. So the impact of the organization is in a whole range of sectors, but the most fundamental is the change that we see in a young student, and they're all between 18 and 25, between the day they start and almost a week later, they're already changed to the point that they're hardly recognizable in terms of their language, their ability to present, their passion. So the change is vast and the change is meaningful. And for us, the most important thing is that it's irrevocable.
It is change that clearly doesn't just happen because they've joined and a year later, magically, all of this impact has been had. Give me an understanding of the curriculum. What are these guys going through over the course of the year that is allowing you to create this sort of change?
So these students, or these graduates next to me, they did a one-year program, and we have now, based on our learnings from COVID, our programs are 6 months long. But the learning model and the change model is the same. So it is in the combination of industry-led vocational training. In the wine program, they do an NQF5 university qualification, and they do WSET2. So those are the core technical pieces. They then spend time during the program in workplaces, putting their learnings into practice. And then the most important thing for us, which is our USP and what we believe brings the magic, is personal development, self-leadership, and at the end of the day, the emotional intelligence that translates into. So all graduates have that and are able to navigate their future. They are able to see their future. They are able to see their contribution to the future, and they are able to go and put it into practice.
I've got a number of people watching the show at the moment. Reginald Peckler up at Cheetah Plains. That's the spirit, ladies. Keep on steering the ship. Awesome. Reggie, good to have you on the show and watching. Helen Nichol, a formidable woman herself, watching from Northern Ireland. What inspiring young women they most certainly are. Let's head back to Ntsiki. When you hear what these young graduates have to say, when you see the impact that they are having, what does that say to you, Ntsiki, about the future of South Africa's wine landscape?
It is very exciting. I don't want to lie. It's like as they are talking, I'm like smiling all the way, because I remember when the academy started, I used to say to Nikki, and I'm like, I wish part of this could be, especially on the personal development side, I was like, I wish this could be part of the university, that because you get given the technical skills, but the personal development, which is what is needed to make a person be able to go stand out in the world, that's what we don't get. And I was like, this which is what basically PYDA gives to the students. And so it makes you realize that the people getting out to the world are people who will lead the country, people who will basically grow the economy of the country, and who's going to stand firm and stand for something in the country.
There also seems very clearly to be from the academy, and you'll know this well, being part of the community that's involved in making it tick over, far more than just a basic understanding of wine. There's a lot of life lessons going on, a lot of education beyond wine, and you've been through this journey yourself. It is as valuable as just knowing about different grapes or understanding how basic wine works, to have all of that other knowledge, all of that other understanding, to make sure that when the graduates are done, they're equipped to go on and take on the world, and do so with a big smile and plenty of success.
Absolutely. It's one of the things I even feel as adults, we sometimes lack this part that the students are learning. In some of the classes I used to, when they're having classes, I'll just go sit and join in, because I was like, I'm missing out on this valuable information, because I was learning something that I didn't learn, things that I've been getting always on the path as I walk, but to actually sit down in a class and learn about it. And so, yeah, I think these students really, they are getting something extremely good from the PYDA, and they are raising the flag.
And they're not just raising the flag, they're also making some wine. I want to get your thoughts on it in a second and find out from our two graduates how this all came about. Before I do that, though, very quickly, Nikki, just an understanding of how people get involved in the academy. What is the path towards entering, to being accepted, to joining this very special community?
So in terms of applying to be a student, it is a formal application process. We are actually in recruitment at the moment, and we had almost 500 people apply for 50 student positions. And wine is the one that is sexy. So we have other programs, but everybody now wants to be in wine, because they have seen their peers, they have seen people in the community step into meaningful roles, meaningful earnings, and starting their careers in this sector. So recruitment of students is an extremely important process in the success of the academy. Although I do know that there are millions of young South Africans who are looking for opportunity and are skilled and able to. So the challenge for us all is to continue to look for innovative ways to be able to marry young South Africans with opportunity, because that's where the change will come. If people want to get involved in the academy in different ways, we have coaches, we have facilitators, we have mentors, we have presenters. That is really just about people contacting us and saying, look, we would love to contribute in some way. And we build partnerships with people where we have shared values and we are able to continue to change things together.
Opportunities are there, and you can either wait for them to come along, or if you are this particular lot, you can go out and seize them yourself. Tell me a little bit about Uluchu, Zeanda. What does it mean, and how did this particular idea come about?
Okay, so Ulucha is an isiXhosa word meaning youth. It originates from the word Ntsha, meaning new. So it first started last year in 2020, which is a collaboration between PYDA and Delham. So we were we saw a post on our WhatsApp groups, and then we applied, and then I think we were selected because we were able to demonstrate PYDA's values, which are transparency, learning, building a relationship, and boldness and courage.
Which gives us this brand new wine. Sipho, how much fun was this? How exciting was it to produce this wine?
Well, it was very exciting. So I think what's most exciting is that even when I go back home in my community, they say, oh, this is the winemaker. So now I feel like I own a brand. So I've gained all the experience, the information that creating a brand is more than just making wine. I think wine is just a fraction of the business. There's still like more skills which you're gonna need, which is planning, marketing, and advertising your wine, selling it. So I've learned a lot of things. So that was quite exciting for me, from the vineyards to the cellar, bottling the wine and putting it out there in the market. So that was very exciting for me.
I think if I can add, Dan.
Sure.
The initially when the opportunity came from Delheim, it was a pragmatic opportunity. They had wine. We had young people who hadn't had deep experience as a result of COVID. So they had less practical experience than a normal program would have had. So it was a learning opportunity. Delheim approached us. We selected graduates and they went. What was completely unforeseen was the extent to which this group of young women mainly have taken it and developed it into a whole brand, a standalone brand, a new brand that has great potential to develop from here. So the learning opportunity, the brief thing has become a whole different future, and that's been very meaningful for everybody involved.
Sisipo, you have the smile now, and you've been able to show off the wine to the family, and you're now the winemaker, and that's the cool and the fun part. What about the actual winemaking? Was it tougher than you'd imagine, and what was the biggest challenge of making all of this work?
Well, the winemaking itself, some days it would be like, oh, this is easy. Then some days it's like, yo, this is heavy, this is hectic. Like doing the punch downs. At first we were like happy and excited. Everyone wanted to do the punch downs. But as the week continued to like day 5, no, I don't want to do the punch downs because we had our muscles, they were very sore. But yeah, some parts it was easy, but some parts, especially the physical one, and when we're doing harvesting the grapes, we had to lift the crates full of the grapes and then take it to the truck. Yeah, that day my body was so sore.
Welcome to the world of winemaking. It does ask a few questions from time to time. It seems like this was very much a team effort. Sianda, who else was involved, and how did you decide who did what in terms of making this wine?
So we selected ourselves and our strengths. Where do you see yourself working? So we said, okay, 3 of us will be on the marketing, and then 3 will do the business plan, and others will do the finance of the business, the calculations, and then we will select 2 people to go and meet designers and also the label printouts companies. So that's how we did it.
That's a proper business that's been set up. And I believe, Sianda, it's very much just the beginning. In fact, you've got a second wine that's going to be coming out quite shortly.
Yes, so we will be bottling the 2021 Pinotage at the end of March.
Now, if people want to get hold of this wine, Sianda, I believe there's a very small amount available, but it's not going to be terribly cheap.
Yes, definitely. There is a small amount. It's 230 bottles. So so the costing, but we're selling the wine at 1,000 rand per bottle as an investment to people who want to support and invest in the youth development. So to invest in the brand so that it can develop to be in other aspects. Sorry, and then maybe we would have other different grape varietal, maybe your Chardonnay, your Chenin Blanc.
Well, let's see what the expert thinks. Ntsiki, should I be spending 1,000 rand on a bottle of this wine?
Absolutely. There's no reason not to. We tasted the wine actually at the launch, and it's such a beautiful wine. And also looking at the fact that this is an investment to help the youth build this brand, because this is an academy, and the academy as on its own cannot really be able to fund this project. So this project has to self-fund as fast as possible. So when you're buying this bottle, you're basically just investing to help the youth that is actually making this brand to happen. Because currently the donations are based for the student to be able to attend the class and actually get to graduate. So it has to fund itself. So that's why it's costing the price it has. But also it's a beautiful wine.
Were you just a little bit surprised? And you can be honest with us here. You've got a group of young people who've never made wine before. It's government by committee. They've split themselves up to try and make something. And here you are, given your first bottle, preparing to try and pretend that it's vaguely drinkable. And then you try it, and actually it's quite nice. Where are you taken just a little by surprise by the quality of what the guys have made?
I wasn't, because looking at where they are making the wine and knowing the quality of grapes that Delheim have and the guidance they had, or they still have, in terms of making this wine. So for me, it wasn't a surprise.
It is available in very, very, very small quantities. What is available in slightly greater quantities is Ntsiki's own wine. Let's chat about that for a moment. The Aslina wine. Am I right in saying that you're now basing operations at Delheim?
Yes, the operation is now based at Delheim. That's where we do everything, like making the wine, storing it there, and basically ship from there.
Give us an update since we last chatted to you. Where has the brand been going? Have you been changing, doing anything new and exciting? And how's 2022 looking for you as a harvest?
I think the new thing that came on board since I last spoke to you, we now have a skin contact Chenin Blanc. We experimented with that last year when I started with Delheim, and I was like to Roloff, I was like, I need to make the Chenin Blanc. I want skin contact. So we had to try and work around that and plan on that. I think for me, one of the exciting things that when I thought of this Chenin, when you've got this vision in your head and you can taste how you want it to taste like, you've got everything in your mind. And then when it comes out, it actually comes out tasting exactly like that. So that was for me like exciting. We only made 4,000 bottles, and unfortunately they were allocated before we bottle. So yeah.
Right, the rise and rise and rise of Aslina is illustrated to me, and you might have seen this on social media. I was in Belfast in Northern Ireland last week, and happened very happily across a bottle of your wine, which was opened and did not last very long at all. So I sense that the Aslina story is broadening, and it's going to a wider space, and you're able to tell this story more and more to more and more people.
Yes, absolutely. We're exporting in a lot of countries. Still, USA being our biggest market, and we've got now the UK, and then in Europe, as you say, you've got it in Ireland. Those are new countries that we've got during the lockdown. We've got Switzerland, we've got Sweden, Germany, Netherlands. And so we are growing. We are growing. We've got Botswana now. So in the continent, which has been one of the places we've been trying to knock at the doors to say, we're home. Can we try and get here? We are in Ghana, Botswana, Swaziland, and Zambia. Zambia is still very new. The wine is still on the way there, so it hasn't even arrived.
Sisipa, when you hear a story like this, when you see what Ntsiki has done with her wine brand as a Black woman in the wine industry that's still coming to terms, I think, with transformation, how much does that inspire you? How much does that guide your imagination as to where your wine journey might take you?
It inspires me a lot, because seeing Ntsiki, especially as the first Black woman to have her own wines. So to me, it makes me think that actually the grass is greener on the other side, so it's not impossible. I see myself also in the later years creating my own brand, actually. So I know now where to go to. I have like Ntsiki and the other people that helped us on our journey of Ulucha. So actually, I do see myself having my own brand.
So if I were to have you on Dan Really Likes Wine, let's say 10 years from now, what story would you like to be telling me 10 years on?
The stories I'd like to tell, firstly, I'd like just to say to the young unemployed youth now that dreams are denied. They're not dreams. Like, you can still make it, because looking at my journey, at first I thought that no, this is over for me. Couldn't get a job, couldn't get to school. I was like, if I don't go to university, then it's done for me. But luckily there was PYDA, which groomed me. So actually, when I thought it was over, it was only just the beginning. So the story I'd like to tell them is that it's not necessary that if you want to be successful, we have to go the same way, like which this mentality that we have as Black families, that if you come out of school, go to university, graduate, and that's the only way you have to live. There's academies like PYDA which groom us. They give us skills, they groom us personally, and we are successful, and we're still going far.
Very inspiring words, Sipho. Thank you. There is much to be told in this particular story, and I'm sure, Zianda, with yours as well. How do you see the next part of your journey unfolding, Zianda?
So with my journey, firstly you have to know your whys, why you doing this, and then I think that will lead you to where you wanna be. So with me knowing my whys, and then the reason why I was at PYDA, I was also unemployed, and then my marks didn't meet the university requirements, and then a friend said, go to PYDA. You see, I'm working overseas. You can also be a SOM. You will get all the equipment, all the skills there. Then I went to PYDA, and I was like, oh Jesus, this will rescue my life. I was going through a lot emotionally, but with the PYDA, there's coaching, mentors, and therapy. If you need someone to talk to, you can go. So I was like, God, this thing is for me. I will strive and then achieve.
What then would you say, Zianda, and it's probably a tough question, but what would you say is the single greatest lesson that you've learnt in your time with the Pinotage Youth Development Academy?
I learned that anything is possible. Everywhere you go, you must make friends, be friendly, and know yourself, be authentic. Also, believe in yourself, take every opportunity, grab it, go for it, and then you will see you'll success.
Stirring words from two graduates of an academy that's clearly having a substantial impact. Nikki, if you had been told when this all started that this is where you would be today, would it have surpassed expectations?
I think when we started, we had no idea where it would land. So that is a great success. It is, however, still something that keeps us up at night, because in the age group that we work in, unemployment is said to be 65%. So as successful as we have been, we are also grappling with the fact that the formal economy cannot meet the needs within the country, which is why we are looking at alternatives. We're looking at small businesses. We are looking at alternative economies. And that is why we are so chuffed and celebrating Ulucha, because through its innovation, it's brought a whole new income option and possibility for other young South Africans to develop and grow and to change their lives.
Which takes me back to the number you brought up a little earlier, 500 applicants for just 50 spots. Growth can mean many things. Does it include looking to being able to include more people in the academy? Do you have the capacity for that? And is something that you'd like to do?
So our strategy is clearly to deepen impact. What that means in terms of numbers and sectors is something that we review all the time, because one of the things that definitely needs greater attention and work is some of the more systemic issues. So many of the challenges that our current students and graduates face are issues that have been around for a very long time and require different intervention. So as much as we are looking at numbers and greater impact through numbers, we are equally looking at different methodologies for other economic income streams, as well as being able to influence some of the systems like transport, housing, and all of the issues in under-resourced areas that impact directly on the young people that we work with. So success for us and deepened impact is going to be a bit of all of the above as we go forward.
I do not envy the challenge ahead, but I congratulate you on taking it on and thus far doing it with great success, as is evident by the two products of the Academy by your side. I'm going to give the last word to Ntsiki before we wrap up. Well, it's been a really uplifting show with some very special people. Ntsiki, a final word to two young members of the wine community who seem to have the world at their feet and seem so determined to go forth and make an impact on our wine industry. You'll remember when you were at a similar age. You'll remember the challenges you've been through as you blazed a trail as a Black female winemaker. What would your words of encouragement, of counsel, of advice be to this pair of exciting young wine enthusiasts?
I think that's a tough one, because Zianda spoke about these things and Sisipo spoke about these things. Because when Zianda mentioned the part of being authentic, the part of making friends where you go, because that's basically about networking so that you can learn from other people. So they've got it. I think these two, they've got it, and they represent the other group that they are with, and they've got it in their hands. I think what I could say is that when Nikki mentioned about how people can be involved, and just to also say that for those who want to be involved with the PYDA, while we're busy trying to work to deepen the impact, is the challenges that we face in terms of funding and in terms of getting extra assistance, whether it's financial, whether it's transport and all those things. We do need those extra hands for people to actually extend their hand to say, you know what, I can assist you there. I can assist you to actually increase and improve what you are trying to do as the Academy.
I think as well as welcoming the advice, the fact that they've got you as a role model is a great benefit, as it is to the rest of the Academy, because Ntsiki sits as an advisor and a board member of the Pinotage Youth Development Academy, an academy that's clearly doing great work. And I thank you, not just for opening my eyes a little, because I now know far more about the Academy and its success than I did an hour ago, but also for the impact that's being had on the world of wine, of young people in South Africa, and on the enthusiasts we have on the show today, Ntsiki and Zianda. So Ntsiki, Zianda, I'm going to try and get hold of a bottle of your wine before it sells out. I've probably only got a day or two, but I'll do my best. But thank you for being on the show. We're going to watch the road ahead for both of you very carefully. Nikki, congratulations on what's a truly inspiring space. It's a much needed one. I sense your work is very far from done. But it looks like you're determined to keep charging on. So good luck with it. And Ntsiki, it was a delight to have you on the show. Keep making fabulous wine. I'm a big fan. I'm one of many. And it's lovely to see you sharing your story and inspiring the next generation of Ntsikis so that you are no longer the exception in our wine world. And I don't think that's too far off based on our examples this evening. So our Pinotage Youth Development Academy, Nikki, Zianda, Sisipo, and Ntsiki, thank you all very much for being part of the show. Keep up the fantastic work, and I look forward to trying all of that wine.
Thank
you so much for having us.
It's been great.
So there we go. Go and have a look online. Pinotage Youth Development Academy. Have a look at the work they do. You might want to support it. You might want to read more about it. You might want to see how you can somehow get involved in what is a much needed educational space that is very clearly turning out some star graduates with the potential to do wonderful things in South Africa. So an uplifting start to your show for the week, certainly for me. I hope you felt as much. I'm off to Mozambique tomorrow. I'm going to be checking out a couple of projects, but also drinking some Portuguese wine, amongst other things. Looking forward to that. And then throwing ahead to Thursday live on the show, Samantha Sudden's Vine Venom will be joining us. So too Lucas van Lochenberg with his new Break a Leg releases, and Saki Mouton, he of Revenge of the Crayfish fame. They're our special guests on the show on Wednesday. And look out tomorrow, the magazine show will be out. It includes a trip to Soweto and the Ayetu Lifestyle Centre, where I drink brandy with Winnie Bowman and just about live to tell the tale. And I head off to the Grill House. Can you eat steak with white wine? Saul Mervis, the man behind the Grill House, gives me that answer. And we're on location on the deck at the Southern Sun with Mauritian sommelier Miguel Chan. So that's all online tomorrow. Thursday's live show, some cracking guests, but a wonderful way to start the week. The Pinotage Youth Development Academy. A big thank you to 4 terrific guests starting the week on such a high note. Keep drinking South African wine. Keep supporting. We'll see you back on the live show on Thursday. Good night. To join the Pick and Pay Wine Club, simply SMS your smart shopper number to 36775. It's absolutely free, and you'll get for yourself 3 times the smart shopper points on every bottle of wine bought. You'll also get a 20% discount on 10 different wines each month, a 25% discount on a case of wine, and a Magnum, some terrific competitions and invitations to awesome events.